Hey everyone, it's Kayla Coleman, the Chief Operating Officer of the Tyler Miller team, and I have our next agent spotlight here. Today I have on Corey Brenner. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks. I know we finally got you on. I know I asked you like a few, probably months ago now, and you were like, no, I don't have anything going. I don't want to talk about nothing. And I was like, well, you have stuff, but...
Yeah, it's all just been prolonged. The process.
It's still prolonged.
Yes.
Although, like, you have some stuff that's still prolonged, which we'll get to. Let's talk about, like, the last, like, month or so for you. So, last month, you've had about, like, 30 appointments. So, talk through who you're meeting with, what you're doing, kind of what you're setting in those meetings.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've been meeting with, it's been a longer journey.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these people I've had... been trying to build relationships with. They're going out to see. A lot of them have been apprehensive in meeting due to market conditions, weather, life, family, whatever it may be. And finally, they're just starting to realize whether it be their rents are coming to an end or that they're now in more of a financial situation where they are trying to purchase. So it seems that it all just snowballed into where I had like about 14, 15 new buyers.
Holy Hannah.
With just showings on top of showings.
Yeah.
For them.
Seeing some good properties, or are they not the best, and that's why you're not kind of going in on them, or picky people?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, when working with some investors where they're a little bit more choosy, where they want to be, and they want to make sure that the rental rates and incomes are going to be there for that. To first-time home buyers, did a few new construction, new builds, right, which is a longer process in doing that. So something that you've been working with these individuals for a few months to figure it out. We've seen 15, 20 homes, and then they're like, no, I'm not seeing everything that I want. I'm just going to build. Yeah. And then going there, interviewing other various companies to see which ones are going to be best for them. And
then starting the 6 to 9 month build process.
Correct.
Yeah. It's just interesting to me, like, how people go through their process. Like, I know when I get a new house, like, I would love a new construction, but like, price-wise, I know it's not the deal. You know, you got to compromise on some things in the house to get maybe the land you want or whatever. And we see that more often than a lot of our clients do.
Absolutely.
So we understand a little bit more. I think it's interesting, too, that people sit and wait so long until, like, their lease is coming up. Like, I know you have a lot of those right now that it's like, yeah, we got to move before June. And you're like, you need to be in agreement yesterday. And then they still want to be picky on what they want.
Right.
It's like...
Exactly. And that with... you know, the interest rates and stuff, those lines with the Fed still going to meet another 2 more times here before the rent is, they're really putting it on a tightrope of hoping that it just, hey, hopefully the rates come down a bit more so I can save a little bit more money now to get into the house that I want. But once again, as you know, if there's more rates that start coming down, more and more buyers are going to start entering the market, more and more competition. Prices of the homes are going to go up just due to the short amount of inventory that we have here in the market.
And regardless of the market that we're in, we see this every single year, and people just never believe us. Like, yeah, it's going to happen. And they're like, nah, it's not. And then it's losing out in multiples, and they get frustrated and kicks them back out of the market until the next year.
And, you know, the weather plays just a huge factor in Minnesota. And people just refuse to
look at homes with the snow.
In snow. And with it being a little bit lackluster this year with the amount of snow, I think it's kind of sped up that process where I think that's why I've had so many people reach out now as opposed to even more in the summer months when it starts to get a little bit busier too. It just kind of snowballed into...
Yeah. And Easter was a little earlier this year, too. So, like, I feel like it really jump-started. Like, this last weekend was pretty quiet. But I think it's because it was Easter, obviously. But then the weekend before that was, like, we had, like, 7 or 8 accepted offers as a team. Like, that's insane. So... Cool. So along with all of your showings and stuff, you've had 7 buyer consults. So talk with me why you do buyer consults and why you think they're important for people.
Yeah, great question. The reason why I think that they're important for everybody is that everyone's at different stages of when they bought properties, whether it be their first time or they own property and it's been 10, 15 years. A lot of changes have happened in the market since then. The biggest one is a lot of new regulatory compliances as well as just explaining, hey, why why isn't it this way again? Like when I bought my original house 10, 15 years ago, this is the way we did things. Well, a lot of things have changed from there. I went from, 2-3 pieces of paperwork to now 70, 80 pieces of paperwork.
Or purchase agreements that used to be the purchase agreements and you had to add in all the addendums. You were a realtor when that was a thing, right? I was talking with somebody about that the other day and they're like, wait, your purchase agreement used to be shorter and then you'd have other pages you add in. I was like, yeah. And then you had to number them all and like, ugh.
Yeah, Minnesota's really good about like having a bigger and larger one. That's why it's a little bit more extensive.
Right.
But like when you compare it to other states like that of Wisconsin's or even just like Florida's or anything like that, where you're like, what am I writing in here? And you basically get to write a purchase agreement,
right?
Instead of we have all the verbiage that have been in there.
It's so interesting. You think they'd want, like the state would want to protect their agents, but they're just more like, peace out, go do your own thing.
Right. So it's nice when you're doing that with the buyer consult. So, having those conversations with people, I think the biggest thing that I like to do is educate. I think a lot of it starts with if you're well educated, you're going to make the right decision.
Yep.
So when working with clients and first-time home buyers to even licensed buyers where they buy houses multiple times a year, it's good to understand where they're at in the process and where you can help guide them and help get to their end goal, which is ultimately being a homeowner.
Well, and that's part of it is, oh shoot, I just lost every train of thought I had. We'll just skip that. I had a really good point, and then the train left the station. It'll come back at some point in time. But yeah, educating, I think, is, I know what I was going to say. So, like, you are getting to the more, like, multiple offer time and stuff, and it's like, if you got to be able to write an offer like this, you don't want to have to explain, like, why it doesn't look good on your offer to have seller paid closing costs, or why it doesn't look good to have an inspection, or explain, hey, if you have $10,000 you can put down for earnest money, why that's more important than putting the minimum, you know, or what is standard minimum. So, yeah, super important. And then, obviously, along with all these other buyers, you've had a few accepted offers. So you had 3 accepted offers in the last month or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How did that go? Tell me some stories.
It was good. I mean, it was just from an investing standpoint for 2 of them. A lot of investors are starting to get in the market. And I think the past 2 years have been a little bit, I think they tightened the reins on a lot of people. A lot of investors were keeping their money close to their chest and unsure with what the market's going to be doing. They didn't want to put their money in something where the rate of return isn't going to be as high as what it has been here in years past. So they're starting to see a lot more activity, and they're getting good deals still out there in properties.
That's awesome.
And then just another one too is just more long-term deals that you're going to be seeing that are new home builders. So that's where the other one came.
Oh yeah, that other one is a new build. I had to think about it. I was like trying to remember which ones they were.
Yeah, I mean it's just where people are at in their stages of life. And I think a lot of the buyers that I'm working with right now fall into one of those 2 categories.
Yeah.
I don't have too many move-up buyers right now per se, but a lot of people have been either saving money where they have a pretty darn good budget to go out there and purchase homes to other various investors that are starting to get more active in the market. So
cool. Well, you've had an awesome last 30 days, and you leave for Florida in 2 days. So I'm sure you're going to get crazy busy because that's what always happens as a realtor. So maybe we'll see another 3 deals in 30 days.
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be nice.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I like going on vacation and having the luxury of
hey honey, I have to go work.
Well, I don't mind that. I at least can be by the pool or something else, which is a little bit more better environment than what it is here.
Than cold. I love it.
It'll start to change.
It'll change soon. So you recently dropped a new brand for yourself. So you're obviously still with the team, but something cool that we do at the team is we allow you guys to kind of have your own brand within the team. Since it is the Tyler Miller team, it's like, well, my name's not Tyler. I don't want to plaster that everywhere. But tell me a little bit about your brand, how you kind of came to conceptualize it and what it means to you.
Yeah, so it was a great opportunity, right, that Tyler was able to provide. So I met with AJ. He's the brand connoisseur, if you will.
He's amazing.
Yeah, awesome individual. Really just gets to pick your brain just on who you are as an individual. And we had a few meetings talking about like who I am, what makes you you, what do you stand for, what do you look for, all these other various things just to try and figure out what makes you who you are, right, essentially. So was able to do that, and for a few months' work of trying to put this together, and then conceptualize what it was. It was figuring out who you want it to be and how are you going to make that your own reality. Like I know Tyler's is, who you work with matters. Came up with a cool one. It was called Get Busy Living, which kind of summed up who I was. It just put in alignment of where I am in my life to what I want to portray to what I want my experience to be for that of my clients.
Yeah.
The reason why we came up with it is that it aligns with, my faith, my family, and my ability to have my freedom. That's what's important to me. And then the ability to do that for the next people. Yeah. So it's just going to be figuring out specifically on their side where they're at in their life, whether it be they're a first-time home buyer, they're an investor, they're trying to create more freedom. But it's basically just valuing your own personal values, realizing that the home ownership is an option. So many people are, under the impression that it takes so much money, like the old antiquated way of thinking of saying that I need 20-25% down to purchase that of a home, when realistically you can get into homes with a lot of down payment assistance programs, other grants, where it's like last year alone, I think I did 7-8 deals of people walking into homes for less than $1,000 out of pocket.
That's crazy.
So it's just, you have to have a good educational program to be able to inform your clients in order to, sound knowledgeable, to go over all these options with them, because there's so many different ways to get into a home.
Yeah.
So I think those are a lot. I know I'm kind of like out of breath talking about
this. You're
like
talking so fast, and I'm like, catch your breath, Corey. But you get excited about it. Like I get the same way. Like I ramble when I'm excited about something, and it's like, I'm like, sorry, I'm talking your ear off, but I'm just like really passionate about this.
Exactly. And that's how I am about my brand too, and having that opportunity. It's just, get that opportunity to go do these things and then relay that message to people. I've had a lot of great outreach from individuals reaching out and saying how cool it is, and they want to talk about it and do more and more things. So I'm excited about that. Was excited about the launch of the brand itself, and excited to see where it's going to be.
No, I love it. You were like our first one to like make the big push about it. Like other people have their own logos and stuff, but they haven't like done all the brand meeting stuff. So it was cool to like see it from start to finish. Like, because we did this with AJ a few years ago, and like we had a lot of people in the room. I mean, we had like 10 people in the room talking about like what our brand at the Tyler Miller team means, and AJ does a great job of like putting it together. And it's just, he sees it from like, he's been a client of ours, but he sees he's seen the client side, but he also sees like the back end business side of it. So it's just cool to like put it all together.
I mean, through a few I think we did two hour-long meetings, and then we had a few other discussions just surrounding it all. But it was just crazy how much he got from our conversation and how he was able to piece that together and make it as concise as what it is. Because similar to Tyler, I have the gift of gab. And
it's a realtor gift. It's not a you or a Tyler thing. It's a realtor thing.
Yeah. I could have a conversation about anything, I feel like, at any given point in time. Just to try and keep... I hate silence, even though that's one of our best friends in the industry. And I can be silent, but I'm the awkward person who's just staring at you and you're like, trying not to smile.
That's what I feel like when we host people in like the fish house and stuff, like I'm very particular about who we host. Right. Because like that's my piece on the weekends. And if there's people there, I feel like I have to entertain or like keep a conversation going, or like even when people come over and hang out, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. Like this is your quiet time too, So it's... You got to protect those pieces in that way. But
absolutely.
Yeah, no, we can chat. Me and you can chat for hours about different things.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm really excited to see like what the brand turns into. I can't wait to see your whole fam in like gear.
Yep.
Now, like when your son's born, you got to get him like a little onesie for like in the hospital with like your logo on it. Like he has to be born into the brand.
We'll see if my wife allows that, but we'll see.
Sarah, if you don't allow it, I'm going to fire you. No, I'm just kidding. Me and Sarah, it's funny because Sarah and I, like, we talk online. Like, I'll comment on her stuff. She'll comment on my stuff. And then, like, we finally met at the movie theater event this year. And she was like, I feel like I know you, but I don't. And I was like, same. It's just, it's fun. Okay, cool. Usually I do, like, a this or that or something with everybody on here. But with you... I was going to talk about something just different because I don't think we've got to talk about it, but I want to know for you what makes an espresso martini the best espresso martini, because there's a lot of wide variety out there. And I was supposed to have one in my hand here.
I know.
It's okay. I don't need to drink an espresso martini during the day. But you promised me, you're like, when we do a podcast, I'll make espresso martinis.
Yeah. And you also promised to come to all these parties and events, and you
just no comments. I got shit that comes up. What did I have going on during the last team get together?
I don't know.
I had my Brainerd Christmas.
Yeah, you had another Christmas party.
Yeah.
Then you've had like family weddings and outings and other various things too. So it's acceptable.
It's the first weekend of December is usually our movie theater event.
Yep.
The second is usually our family Christmas party. But this year my sister-in-law got married. And then the third weekend is always the Brainerd Christmas get together.
Yep.
And then it's Christmas.
Right.
Like it's just those 2 weekends every year are just.
I know.
It is what it is. It's too hard. That's why I was like, we need to do Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need another thing in December.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, what makes an espresso martini? Like, are you wanting the creamy ones? Are you wanting the more coffee-forward ones?
Yeah. It depends. I would say, I will say this. I had a tequila espresso martini.
Okay.
This past weekend. They're terrible. I don't care what anybody says. I love tequila.
Really?
A big tequila guy. Love tequila. Probably my drink of choice.
Okay.
Would never have one. And again, tequila and coffee, if you like that flavor profile.
Yeah.
It's, without insulting people, I think there's something wrong with your taste buds.
Okay, but was it clear tequila or was it like because they make like a tequila that's coffee flavored, right?
Well, they use like an añejo, which is usually a darker tequila and stuff like that. But I mean, I enjoy, we have some good añejo tequilas, but we just used a straight like Blanco tequila for it all. Tapatio was the name of it. It's a really good mixing tequila.
So you made this yourself?
Oh, I tried another one, just like.
And it was terrible.
Yeah, I just was.
Okay.
I was trying to figure it out.
All right, so we know that we don't like that, but what do we like?
I think the biggest thing too is a lot of people use just regular unflavored vodka. Yeah. I think flavored vodka makes the profile better. So I would say that a vanilla vodka is what I always use. Ones that I've gravitated towards that are good mixing ones are either Absolute or Stoli.
Yep. I like Stoli.
I think they do a pretty good job. It's pretty clean, good vodka.
Okay.
And then the other component too that I've noticed, a lot of people like Kahlua in theirs. Kahlua is not a good mixer for espresso martinis. Some people say it is. I disagree.
When I make them at home, I use Kahlua.
Yeah.
But when I get them at restaurants, I prefer not to.
Right. I prefer to not have that in there. So there's actually a very good local coffee liqueur. It's called Du Nord.
Okay.
So it's D-U-N-O-R-D. That's one that I have a strong proclivity towards. I think they've had the best. Like I've had probably about 6 or 7 different coffee liqueur mixers and stuff like that. Some of them have a bourbon or a whiskey base to them. Okay. This is a vodka based liqueur, and it's about 17.5% alcohol, so it's not too strong.
Terrible.
So I like to do like a two shots of vodka, and then 1 shot of the Du Nord with the espresso, then pouring that in.
Do you have an espresso machine at home?
We do, yeah.
Okay, that makes it easier. So otherwise, I just use cold brew.
Yeah. We've ran out where it's like we don't have it and stuff like that in stock, and we would run up to Starbucks or Caribou and go get like 8 shots. And just pick, this person's a crazy person if they're getting 8 shots in a cup. I'm like, we're using it for other things, but.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But we'd say we do that, and then I like to add just a little bit of half and half towards it all. So then I do that. So that's what I'd put on those specifically into it, and then shake it up, and then I garnish. So particularly about this, a lot of people just throw like regular coffee beans in there. I don't think that adds. I like to do a little bit of, Trader Joe's has an unbelievable Colombian dark chocolate
coffee bean
that I shave over the top of it. So it's got both the coffee bean as well as the dark chocolate on there. So it adds a little bit of the sweetness, but it also combats the bitterness of the strong espresso flavor from it. So it has a little bit of sweet to it, and that's where I think the espresso martini needs to have a little bit of sweet factor towards it, but not overpowering. Right. It's still a martini when I want people to talk about that, because it's like when you go into, not hating on Crave, love Crave, good restaurant and stuff. But when you have something and it tastes just like a sugar bomb or anything along those lines, you don't want
or just an alcohol bomb, because there's the complete opposite. Like, what was that supper club up by your cabin that I went to?
Why can't I think of it?
Whatever. I got a key lime martini. Yeah. And I literally, like, I can put down booze. Yeah. And I could not drink it because it was
Norway Ridge. Sorry.
Norway Ridge. Yeah. It was straight alcohol. Yeah. And I was like, can I get some Sprite or something? Yeah. Like, I can't handle this. And I think that's why I like espresso martinis because they're more like a mixed drink.
Right. Yeah.
But you call them a martini to sound fancy.
Right. Well, they serve it, in an uppity glass. And I'd rather have it in a low ball.
This is so interesting. If I'm going to sip on them like all night long, I want a low ball because I want a little bit of ice to like get some more fluids in me.
Absolutely.
But okay, this is very interesting because like, I don't know, you go places and you get the espresso martinis that don't have any cream to them. Or like not even half and half, but sometimes people put like Baileys in them.
So they'll substitute cream with a Baileys. Or
and so it's like, I was wondering if you were like a creamy espresso martini or a dark espresso martini. Okay, I like this.
Yeah, the cream itself is basically just to add the froth and the foaminess towards it all, so it gives it a little bit more bodied. But, so you can shave and put the stuff and it holds its actual texture on it all. But, I mean, for the most part, it's not like a added. It's like barely a
splash.
Yeah, it's like a half of a tablespoon.
Yeah.
So it's not much that you're putting in there.
Just enough to whip it up with the ice.
Absolutely. So you shake it up in the ice, having your nice, what else, like a shaker or whatever. That's what I would say. But
I need to go on like an espresso martini tour of the Twin Cities because you've posted on so many things like
my lists
of them, and I'm like, I just need to go on a tour now. I mean, I'd be like 2 sheets to the wind, but like it'd be fun.
Yeah,
like
I think the most I've ever had is 4 espresso martinis in a day.
Okay,
and it was, I don't remember sleeping. I'll be honest. It was rough.
Cruise ships make really good espresso martinis too. Like when we're on the cruises, like at night.
Yeah.
Straight espresso martinis, and they're like, we don't have espresso up here, and I'm like, I'll go down to the coffee shop and get espresso. So like I come up with like a cup of espresso, and they're like, oh, you're gonna be here for a while, and I was like, or I'll take the rest with me to the next bar.
Awesome. I can't comment on that because I haven't had a recent cruise ship experience.
I think it depends on the bartender. Okay, but Tom and I try and find like a good bartender, and then like we go to them every single night, kind of deal.
Absolutely.
But, okay, well now I have your recipe so I can like use it.
I'd be happy to share it, but I can give you.
You just did.
My top 3 though.
Okay, top 3. Yes, let's do top 3.
Top 3 espresso martinis.
And why?
In Minnesota, and I'm pretty, unless the list something else happens, but I'm pretty set on this list until something changes elsewhere. Edwards Dessert Kitchen, North Loop.
Never been there.
Yeah, great. It's weird that it's actually owned by Schwann's, but it's a small, just like a little. Independent. They are obviously that's their parent, but they just do all like desserts and everything that they have, but a full bar.
Okay.
They do an unbelievable espresso martini.
What's good about it?
They use a little bit more on the sweet and salt factor, which I really like. So they use a salty sea salt on the top. So it's a flaky sea salt on top. It's like a black black sea salt. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
And then the other one's like a maple sea salt on it. So it has like a little hint from the sweet and salty.
I think I need to go there tonight.
But it's really good. I recommend washing it with their brookie cookie.
Okay.
It's like a brownie cookie. It's great. Awesome. That's my number 1. But they garnish it with the one thing I don't like about it is that they garnish it with a lemon peel. Just for like
that makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't pair well at all. Like anybody that likes chocolate and lemon.
So do you order it without the lemon?
I do. And good news is I'm on first name basis there with the guys. So
I'm gonna go and order it and say Corey told me not to get the lemon and that you should nix it from the menu.
The bartender's name is also Corey.
Okay,
he's
perfect.
A great guy. So
I'm gonna be like Corey.
You can tell him that I sent you.
Okay.
Or anybody here.
I'm gonna go tonight.
But they're super good. That's the best one I've had here in Twin Cities. Number 2, I would say Sidebar over at Surdyk's. That's in Northeast.
Yep.
They do an excellent job as well.
Okay.
They have an unbelievable smash burger too, by the way.
Okay.
If you ever get an opportunity to go there, like
I don't think I've been there, but I've driven past it definitely.
So it's at Surdyk's. Like, if you know where that is.
Yep.
It's right there on the side, but they have a full bar, kitchen, everything. Super great.
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
What's special about theirs?
They use the Du Nord.
Oh,
so they're the ones who actually introduced me to it. But
so do they carry it at Surdyk's then
too? They
do.
Yep.
Sweet, because I was gonna like go to Total Wine and be like, "Do you guys have this?"
I'm pretty sure Total Wine has
it.
There's a few places by my house in St. Louis Park that just also they do a lot of local stuff. That's what their niche is. So they do that. So I would say theirs. And then number 3 is this is tough because I have like 2 that I would say, but I really like Burroughs.
Where is that?
It's in the North Loop as well.
Okay.
I'm not just saying North Loop makes the best, but they've had a lot of great recipes and stuff like that.
North Loop is more like the hip, like newer drinks where if like you go St. Paul side, it's more like the like bourbon. Yeah, like it's stuff like that. Like it's not what North Loop does. Yeah.
And then I would say shout out to Ox Lake Tavern. I would say that's up in the Cross Lake area.
Okay, I've heard of them too.
It'd be my honorable mention for like 3 or 4. So Corey and Caitlin. So
okay,
they do a good job.
I'll have to meet you up there this summer. I need to come up to Cross Lake some weekend this summer, and we can just go get wasted.
Yeah, we can.
It'll have to be early
on the boat.
Okay, perfect.
Get out and go from all the bars and everything. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay, we'll have to do that in like May or June.
Okay, yeah, because my window's closed.
Your window closes after that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm so excited. Yay. Okay, one other question I came up with in my head about this is, when you're making espresso at home for them, what kind of coffee do you use? Because I'm sure that plays a role too.
Yeah. I don't have like a full on like nice $2,000 espresso maker. We have just the Nespresso, like the elevated Nespresso maker and stuff like that. So we use the specific one is the Venturi.
Okay.
Venturi pod.
Okay.
So you can realize it talks about like the boldness of it. So it's a Colombian bean that they utilize there, and it's in a purple package on top.
Yeah.
But the strength on it is an 8 out of 11,
which
is super weird. Their ranking score is out of 11. I've never understood that.
Is there 11 kinds of coffee that they have? So they just give each one a number.
But yeah, it's 11. We've had the like true like dark like Turkish style ones where it's like an 11 out of 11. I think
too dark.
It's like I'm not a big coffee actual person.
Yeah.
Like I don't really drink coffee a ton, except for I love
espresso
martinis. And I love coffee based ice creams like Java Chunk and stuff like that.
Really?
But
okay.
I'm more of an aroma. I like the aroma of it as opposed to the overall taste. Like if you put enough sugar though on things,
you can drink it.
Yeah, or put enough chocolate or something with it. I can.
Okay, so we went to the Starbucks Reserve this last weekend in Chicago. I don't think you saw that because you're not on the Snapchat, but it's a 5-level Starbucks.
Yep.
And they make like mixed cocktails and stuff. Like I didn't know about this until like 2 days before.
Okay.
They make nitro ice cream there, and then they do an avocado flight.
Nice. Yeah.
To die for. Yeah. Like I swear to God, it was so good. I'm just like, I want to go back just for that, because it's just like there's not really many places here you can get like a good avocado. Like
I'd say Edwards has a good one too.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Edwards and I'm gonna be up all night tonight. I can just wait. I'm gonna go get Jack.
They have good ice cream there.
Yeah,
so it's like
but that's the thing. Like you have to have good quality ice cream if you're gonna add coffee to it. Like
I won't be too uppity to tell you where the best places are, but it's like I wouldn't go here in Minnesota
for avocado.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's like, I mean, you can go to an Italian restaurant and it'll be okay, but not.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay. I thought that was fun because I was like, we haven't talked about it. Like we've talked about it, but we haven't talked about it. Okay, cool. So you've been on the team for like 2 years now, right? Just over? Just under?
It's been, just under. I think it's been like a year and a half.
Okay.
A little over a year and a half. Yeah.
So what made you make the jump from your previous brokerage and team? I mean, I know some of it, but I'm sure there was some other stuff behind it too.
Yeah.
That made you decide to come here and make EXP your home.
Yeah. Well, long story short, I mean, for the most part, they closed shop.
Yeah.
And then we're exploring options at that time. I know I want to still be in real estate, and actually started following a few realtors probably a few months before. I did not have a social media presence. I was an incognito.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, in the dark realtor for a few years that nobody really knew what I did or did anything.
Yeah.
So I started actually like building a social media presence and posting like old closes and stuff like that. Like I'd take pictures of like, yep, close. And I'd literally take a picture on my computer of the MLS numbers.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was terrible. Like worst social media I've ever seen in my life.
Your wife let you do that?
She didn't really know about this account. So it was just kind of just running this and be like, yeah, what do you think? And she's like, that's
terrible.
You're kidding, right? For those who don't know, my wife's in like a marketing sales type role. So
yeah.
She had a quick say on that, but helped run my social media because I didn't know how to do postings. Like, if you look back on all my social media before, let's say like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
1-2 posts a year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it was,
and some people do great with that, but it makes it a little bit easier if you incorporate it.
Yeah. People were like, oh, hey, what's new in your life? I'd be like, I graduated college. That's the last update I had on my
I don't play football anymore.
Yeah.
I graduated college and I go to the gym.
Yeah. I got a place. Yeah. That basically was pretty funny. Yeah, like I said, long story short, was just kind of figuring out and connecting with realtors and seeing what's going on. Stumbled upon Tyler. Actually know of Tyler through just previous. I've seen a few of his homes and listings and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, they do a good job here of just like labeling, getting all the answers and questions for other agents, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to get that. And then I interviewed with a few places, but the one thing that really drew me towards EXP and specifically Tyler was he was hosting a anonymous like agent information webinar.
Oh,
him and TK did.
Yeah. Okay. Because I actually didn't know how you connected with Tyler.
Yep.
But yeah, I was on that too. I was watching that.
So I connected with his Instagram account.
Okay.
God, probably 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then just kind of followed a little bit of what that looked like. And then attended that. And I was like, okay. And then from that, I sent him a message just to be like, hey, I was on your anonymous realtor thing.
Yeah.
Everything sounded interesting.
Yeah.
Like to say
almost like too good to be true.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't go into too much of the details of like if you try and explain to somebody who hasn't had a profit sharing program and trying to explain it, it's just like talking to somebody about, the space.
Yeah.
And they're just like looking right through your soul. You have no
Well,
idea.
and I even have like a hard time like explaining it to people still. Like, because EXP offers so much.
Right.
That it's like, again, like I talk to people and I get excited about it. And so I like share too much, but then they don't like retain it.
Right.
And it's like figuring out what's important to somebody.
Absolutely.
And explaining those things first and be like, there's these other things too that I think you could find beneficial, but this is the most,
Absolutely. Yep. Correct.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. It's interject whenever. But a lot of it was fielding those questions and wanting to speak more, like a little bit in depth about that. So I set up a coffee with him and TK and talked about it and was able to, get some more answers from
They
there.
kept it serious enough that you still wanted to join us?
Only one or two only asked. But from that, I then had another conversation where I came in here and met with him.
I met with you that time then.
Yep.
That was the time that I met you for the first time.
I came in the office.
Yeah.
And in that time, and then, had just a few more questions just answered for me on that part, and then just understanding more about the team itself and get a feel, see people around working, and then shadowed the Tuesday TMT meeting.
Oh,
right?
Yep.
So just kind of
see if like everybody's a good vibe for you, because we're a lot to handle.
Yeah, it's like somewhat between a family and fraternity is what I would
I think it leans more to the frat side lately.
We'll see. But I was kind of just doing that and getting...
You're kind of already looking for your own way out. And
yeah, it was just more answers to like questions.
Yeah.
And just... I know I wanted to stay in real estate and I wanted to figure out what it was going to be, but they answered a lot of the things.
Yeah.
And compared to other companies, Tyler and TK actually, when I met with them, they said, go ask these questions of these people, see what they do on those things. And it was kind of like a trap, because it's like, okay, well, I will do that. I'll ask these questions. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know how, we wouldn't do those things.
Yeah.
And he's like, we do all those things.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make sense why I'd work with you versus the other person.
Exactly.
So you're saying like, you pay for leads? I don't have to pay for leads?
Yeah.
So,
it's nice. It's nice. And you're good at converting some of those internet leads. Like some of them can be tricky. And it's like, if I know I have a tricky situation, like I'm like, Corey, do you want this one? Because like you can handle some of those like more complicated conversations or objections that maybe some other people aren't as seasoned on. Right. So you're definitely an asset to us. That's for sure. So I appreciate having you around.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think the thing for you with EXP that's like a little bit different is like, you're a little bit more investor savvy because you are an investor yourself. So like you see the benefit behind like the revenue sharing and like the stocks with EXP and all that. So like that's already a huge benefit to you versus like other companies that you can't even buy stock in the company. So cool. One question I missed before, because I'm doing it off the top of memory, before that was you were in HR before. So what made you make the jump from HR to real estate? Because I don't think I know this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was in for the better part of like 8 years. Did a lot of HR recruitment.
Okay.
Specifically for Fortune 1000 companies.
Mm-hmm.
Was contracting for a handful of years, and then basically my last 3-4 years were with a company where I started off contracting with them, and then ended up going full time.
Okay.
With them, but a lot of it was doing the hiring and firing for them of companies.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's never fun to fire anybody. I can say that.
No.
But when you start doing more of the hiring side of things, typically when you're getting into more of the layoffs or anything, they bring in a superior.
Yeah.
Like it's not my.
Because you're an outside.
Yep.
You're just there to make sure that laws are followed and stuff.
There wasn't really many like laws per se.
Okay.
For like the hire, like that, a lot of that's governed by the own. You'll have like a CHRO.
Right.
Which is like the chief
HR person.
Officer. Yep. So they'll handle a lot of those. But a lot of the decision making stuff when it comes from the C-level executives.
Yep.
And then I take it from like the middle level management to go and meet with like the directors and hire those people for their particular positions.
Okay.
So I did that for, like I said, for the better part of almost 8 years.
That's crazy.
And after 8 years, it was very monotonous.
Yeah.
Liked it, was well at it, made a great living.
Yeah.
Just decided it was just, you wake up every single day, you know what you're going to do from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yep.
And it didn't matter.
Yep.
And, after doing it for so many years, you just wake up, keep going through that routine.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Shooter at all?
No, I'm a terrible movie person. I don't really watch movies.
But it's just, it talks a lot about just the monotony of going through like the day, and it's just like, when are you going to wake up and change?
Yep.
And then it's just like, I wouldn't say it clicked for me one day, but it's like, it was a slow process to like, do I want to continue on this route for the rest of my life, or am I going to be pulling my hairs out? Yeah. Continue on in this lifestyle. And
did you already have your investment properties when you didn't have any of those?
No, I did. Okay. So how I kind of got into like the real estate, I had an opportunity to partner with a friend on, hey, if you were to give me X amount of dollars, we're going to flip this house. And then was able to double my overall investment. And then that kind of got my interest into the real estate. And I started looking into more and more of those things, and then started buying, when I got into real estate and started doing it, because I was like, okay, let's factor in like all these things. I'm like, why am I paying somebody else $15,000-$16,000
when I can do this
when
myself?
I can do it and I can pay myself?
Yeah.
Right? Or I'd save myself X amount of dollars. So that's when I decided to become fully licensed. And then once you start doing, in the state of Minnesota, once you start doing more than 5 transactions a year, they consider you more than just an actual buyer and investor.
Oh, okay.
They consider you more savvy.
Yeah.
And so at that point, you do have to get your license.
Oh, okay, cool. So I didn't know that you could actually sell without having like your official license and stuff.
It's more on the purchasing side of things.
Yeah.
So like when you're investing and buying and flipping real estate, that's when they start to have more and more of that. Like, so if they consider you to be more knowledgeable than the everyday individual, just because you've had more skin in the game and stuff, that's when they, I would say, require you. I don't know if it's require is the right word, but they need you to do that. And I was like, well, I've already had the losing interest in my current occupation. Yep. Why not explore more of this? And had a conversation with Sarah and kind of made that change.
You had a conversation, but you were like, I don't really care what you say. I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
Bye.
So, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, cool. Okay. See, things I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because we just don't talk about it in the office. Yeah. I don't know why, but we don't. But well, cool. Well, that's all I have for you today. Anything you wanted to touch on?
No.
Closing thoughts? No? Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're leaving for Florida, which I'm so jealous of. We already talked about. But I know you're busy, so I appreciate you taking the time
thank you for
chat
having
with
me.
us. And we'll have you on in the future.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you in a few weeks.